This conference will now be recorded.
I got 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have 2 amendments to add to the agenda. We'll do 8D, a variance request up on 994 Gulfview Avenue, and 8E, new office furniture. So I just need approval to add them amendments. Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Just need approval adoption of the agenda. Oh, just amended? Okay. Okay. We'll review the minutes from April 7th, regular meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the April 7th meeting minutes as written.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Accounts payable, Priege.
There was a couple of them that stood out this year, or this month. Number 77293, that was the first quarter inspection fees for $11,394.96. The other one was 77297 to WHKS for engineering for $88,015.88. And the other one I looked at was the Heartland Trees for the tree removal on Jefferson, which we talked about last meeting, for $19,999.50. No questions, I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable for April 21st, 2022 in a total of $172,307.19.
Second.
Any further discussions?
Just have a question, so there's a Heartland Tree bid just gave $99 over her bid. What was it? So that might be a minute here. Just checking. I'll check into it. I'll check a minute for it. Okay.
Good catch.
Well, it's gonna be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
From 7.
Embedding. Minutes. Perfect.
Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Public comments. Individuals may address the city council about any item of concern. Speaker must state their name and limit the remarks to 5 minutes. Any public comments portion? Any public comments? I will close the public comments portion, and we'll jump down to 8A. The ARPA funds request approval to proceed with hiring an additional 2 days CETA EDA staff. Brian.
Yes, we've been talking about adding some additional EDA staff for a while. We were thinking about trying to defray some of the planning and zoning duties. But as Dylan and I talked about what the needs are, we decided that if we get another Dylan, that'd be great, but another EDA person like Dylan to take on some of the things that Dylan is unable to get to. There's some programs and some funding sources and some things like that Dylan has a goal of getting to and getting going, which has just not been, with time, has not been able to get that going. So we've talked to Ron Ziegler about 2 days of a CETA staff, and that would be $34,370 per year. We would not be able to bring anybody in till June for sure, maybe July 1st. So prorating that, we're anywhere between $18,000 to $21,000 for the rest of the year. And we'd like to request that out of the ARPA funds. Moving forward, we would look to take the dollars for that out of permit fees, hopefully all of it, but we need to take, look a little closer to see. For now, we just thought, okay, let's see if we can use the ARPA dollars just to grow into that, and we'll get a little better handle on it for the next year's budget. So yeah, that's the request. Staff recommends using ARPA dollars to fund an additional 2 days of CETA staff to work with economic development. Again, there's a lot of things going on. We've got a lot of opportunities, and we need to make sure we've got the resources to follow through on all those things. Questions?
Concern?
So we're looking for a motion
Yes, please.
to hire CETA resource for 2 additional days. Getting after June 2022.
Sometime, yep.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Thanks, Brian. 8B, request to proceed with purchase of WatchGuard body and squad cameras. Pat?
I have a request in front of you from, with a quote from Motorola for WatchGuard body worn cameras and squad video systems. This would be upgrading our complete systems. They work together. We did have demonstrations from both WatchGuard and Axon. We didn't entertain one with the current user or current system we have. We're not very happy with it. And this one seems to rise to the top. This is also the system that the county is headed toward. They're installing the squad video systems in. They haven't gone to the body worn cameras, but that's still part of their plan. And the unique feature of having that is that they trigger off of each other. So if someone else sets their camera off, others in the vicinity would also. So that's one of the other major reasons we wanted to go with WatchGuard. They are phenomenal. The system with the squad video, it's called the 500 system. The video quality is extremely high, so it has the capability of using ALPR, which is license plate reading capability. If we decide to drop that software in, which would cost an additional fee, we would have that ability to read license plates in that particular unit. So pretty high tech stuff. And I know my staff is for this idea of going to this. It's going to be inevitable in the future, and I think it's time for us to pull the trigger on this. So, and I know Brian's got the information on where we're funding it. So we've had long discussions over the past year plus on body worn cameras. So looking for your approval on that.
Yeah, we've had many discussions. Pat and I have talked about these at length. We've looked at different systems. He's done a good job vetting systems and the what's and the whys, and I've asked the questions of why this one. And I think being that the county is going to it, and then the other question is why squad cameras too? Well, if we're going to do this, we want them to work together. This would be a cloud-based system.
Correct.
Which does add a little bit of cost. There was a question about a neighboring community that was doing this. It seemed to be much cheaper, but when we looked into it, it was just a fraction, a little bit of I think it was just body cameras. It wasn't cloud-based. It wasn't, and then they already had a server, so it wasn't a good comparable. So we did dig into that too to see if we're actually getting the best price we can on a system like this. Yeah, and I just think it's getting to be one of those things that officers need to have nowadays, and citizens want the officers to have that. It's going to work to protect citizens and our officers as well. And we've got technology dollars there for it. We use the ARPA funds to purchase the new financial system, And so that is freeing up some technology dollars, and we would like to take the whole amount out of there. I believe there's going to still be about 15 to 20,000 left in that technology fund, even if we take this all out of that fund. If we decide to proceed with this tonight, there's going to be other steps that we have to do, public meetings. Pat, maybe you can explain a little bit more of that.
Yeah, before you implement it, you do have a public meeting in regards to the implementation. We would be subject to an annual audit, which is just to make sure that, you're utilizing the system properly. There's also, we kind of figured the cost of the installation in this cost here. I did get some decent quotes from EATI, who does our outfitting. And so I think we're going to be pretty comfortable with the number that's there. The other thing is there's a Wi-Fi access point we can put in the cars that we would be able to run our body cameras, our squad cameras, and our computer systems off of all together, which we can do in the future. So I want to have it so it's ready for that, because that's one of the transitions that I think we're going to find we're going to need. I know the county will definitely need it because they won't have their cars get to an access point as frequently, so they need it to upload live while they're out about the county. So that's the reason why they're doing that, and that's the goal for them. And I think as I talk to county IT, we'll be looking at that as a possibility for us, but we will be able to use it this way, from what I understand from Motorola, as it is.
Will you be training in it?
Absolutely. Yeah, they will be training us in it. They will be coming out to get the system online. I don't know exactly how the transition will be with switching systems. Obviously, if we're pulling systems out, there's going to be some sort of delay. So I kind of anticipate body-worn cameras might actually be active first, and then, we'll deal with the cars. But I think we'll probably have EATI. I think they'll come right on site and change them all out. So we're going to buy all 4 of the units. We're only going to do 3 of the units this year. I'm going to shelve one because we're going to order another car this fall. And I don't want to put it in the oldest car that we're going to potentially get rid of. It doesn't make sense to do that and then turn around and spend more money just to reinstall it. So.
Yeah, I think because I think one of the ones that we were talking about earlier activated with the taser, but that was on the Axiom.
That was the Axon, yes. But I think if they told us they had something that will do that, if you.
But I like this option of that it turns on anybody else's camera in the area, because I think a lot of times our officers are out patrolling by themselves, and their only backup is, the sheriff or the state trooper when.
Correct.
They may be in the area or in the vicinity, so I think that's a fantastic piece of additional safety for our officers.
Absolutely.
And the other, it's been,
Tedious and
oh gosh.
a lot of them.
The other thing cost-wise, I'm asking for up to $70,000 just to handle, because one thing I've learned is with this technology, it's gonna, a lot of times there's little extras here and there. So, Pat's got $66,933. I think, up to $70,000 just to make sure we cover whatever's going to come up with install and that type of thing. But this is also a 5-year subscription. So we've got 5 years to grow this into the capital equipment plan in the budget. Beyond that, it's about $12,000 a year, a little less.
And then
for
that
the service.
we maintain a subscription. I think after 5 years, they said we get a refresh of body cameras. It would be kind of similar to what TASER originally had. But yeah, we'll be by that time, we should have built into our capital very comfortably the subscription costs for this.
Just to be able to keep it going, so.
So this quote, that includes the Wi-Fi that you were talking about?
No, it doesn't include the cradle point. No, I haven't delved into that because I'm hoping to get away without having to do that this year.
So is this just for the body cameras, or is this for those head units that you were talking about too?
It's for the squad video systems, so 4 of those, and then 8 body worn cameras.
Making it so they all jive together. Got
Yep.
it. And then, if we're doing this, and then we're gonna have the 12,000 a year, what, the only thing that's not included in here is the install then?
Yeah, I didn't include the install yet because I'd put a request from EATI. I finally got that request. I think it was like $510 per car to retrofit. So we just wanted to make sure we had cushion in there. And if there's anything that we would add to say, hey, make this ready for Cradle Point also, so we can just drop it in, it shouldn't be much more than even that, so.
And then you're saying that there's gonna be a $20,000 cushion in there. Now with the $20,000 cushion, does that still leave the $20,000 in the?
Technology account that we're taking the money from.
technology account?
Yeah, so
That was gonna my
might be
question.
15
So
to,
like the rest of the cameras to get online, not the chief's cameras, not the police department cameras, but the rest of the cameras in the city.
Yep.
Get those online, and we're still gonna, there's still money left.
oh, we've already paid for install and everything. And-
We're just waiting for it to.
It's coming quickly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just know you said there was 20 left in there, and then if you're gonna have a little buffer, we want to just make sure it's good.
Yeah, oh yeah, we'll have, because there's, technology and subscriptions are, so we wanted to have some dollars there. That's why we were thinking of splitting it between ARPA dollars and technology dollars at first, but when Kim and I were having conversations, the money's there, let's use those technology dollars, and that frees up, we're not taking $35,000 of ARPA dollars as well. And we still have plenty of cushion there. And the only add-on we're not doing right away, like Pat said, is the license plate recognition, which is a cool feature, because it runs license plates constantly. But that's something we can grow into if we decide to.
Yeah, I think I want to get used to this first and then look at the ALPR. Because that's another audit too. I mean, that's a completely different thing. There's ALPR comes with a lot of restrictions and processes and procedures, so, and I wouldn't want to necessarily outfit all of the cars with ALPR because it's not cheap.
You said there's a public meeting to be held for?
Correct.
Public meeting for?
It's to just notify the public that that's what we're going through, and we'll have policy set up for body worn cameras. It's just what the state decided that has to happen if you're gonna implement it. You have to have a public meeting.
So informing the public that our police department will be recording them
Correct,
or anybody else.
correct.
Do I hear a motion?
Absolutely, I've been waiting for this 2 years. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 500. Thanks, Chief. 8C, RBC plastic removal from WWTP. Mike?
Kim, turn the mic on.
We have the old RBCs that were left out there from approximately about 25 years ago. We're looking at, we want to finally get rid of them. And this is all just an estimate from Paul and Jeff out there, but a cost to pig for $10,000, cost in trucking of $5,000, and a cost of excavator to load it $5,000, for a total of $20,000.
Big pile of plastic that's been sitting there for years and years, and growing weeds around it. Who knows what's in there?
It's at the sewage plant.
Yeah, it's just off in the grass there. Yep. And so it costs a little money to get rid of those things. That big, was there 2 RBCs there? Or?
Oh, no, there's not. The total of what was out there, was it 9 RBCs, 8 RBCs, is the total of all of them that was replaced back 25 years ago.
And those are big, so it's not like a little pile of plastic. It's a lot of stuff. But if you're gonna have been long enough, let's see if we can haul it away.
I assume that's coming out of the sewer fund.
Has to.
make a motion to approve cleaning up the RBG plastic at the wastewater treatment plant up to $20,000. Is that what I should say?
That would, Mike?
Or to E?
Whatever it takes. It's really, it's gonna be hard to know what they can get in those trucks or not, even, there's such big bulky items. Until we get started at it, we really don't know. All of that is just, yeah, so I just soon once we get started at it, I just soon get rid of it all.
Great. But I mean, if it's gonna be $100,000, I'm not giving you, you know what I mean? Then I'm gonna be like, no, it's gonna sit
We're
there.
out.
I'm just saying, I don't wanna.
Didn't Paul say he was pretty comfortable that might be high, on the high end, so.
Well, we're figuring high, always trying to figure on the high
Yeah,
side.
so
Up to $20,000.
we can haul $20,000 worth away anyway.
Just gotta,
Well, at least it's not a bolt that costs $20,000. That's usually what it is.
Does anyone want a second?
Oh, second, sorry.
Looking at you like, well, yes.
I thought we had one.
Any further discussion?
Two.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thanks, Mike. 8D, variance request, 994 Gulfview Avenue. Dylan.
Yeah. So 2 months ago, some plans were submitted for a home on a uniquely shaped lot in the Highlands First Edition. The lot was originally platted in the early 2000s and can be seen in your packet on the attached plat. I hope the highlight showed up too when I scanned it in. The underlying zone for this addition requires lots to have 80 foot of the frontage and 100 feet on the side yards. The subject parcel has 113 on that south side and 70 feet on the north side. So the variance specifically was a request to encroach 5 feet into the rear yard setback. I've pasted the variance language from our zoning ordinance on the memo, and the Planning Commission set out to find the findings in fact for each of those 5 criterias. Additionally, there was 2 letters of support for the proposed variance, one from an abutting property to the south and another from the developer, obviously. Due to the criteria for granting variances being appeased and stemming from the unique non-conforming shape of the lot, the Planning Commission recommends approval of the variance for a 5-foot encroachment into the rear yard setback for this address.
Any further questions for Dylan?
We have the same issue with lot 10.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
I met with Mr. Lennon last summer because he brought both of these in and said, what can I do? Because it doesn't meet our criteria for buildable anything. And there's covenants up there that they can't be below 1,300 square feet for a house. So obviously you can't put a 500 square foot house just to meet the setbacks. And this was one of the options he said he remembers being discussed with them almost 20 years ago. Overall, there's probably 4, 5, 6 lots in the Highlands as a whole that just can't fit a house on them.
yeah, our original one.
How did that get passed as far as a development plan for those size lots? They should never should have been.
Yep, so during the development process, my assumption, I wasn't here 20 years ago and I can't ask those who were in the decisions. I believe Tina's lot, what it looks like to me is that was an outlot. I mean, it doesn't look like it would have been a residential lot at the
It
time.
was a farm.
Yeah,
Really platted.
but after platting, just because outlots are usually unique shape. My assumption's always been when you have 99% of the lots that are good, you approve it for the sake of the development type of thing, and then deal with the after effects after. That's what I've always told myself, because now I'm the one dealing with a few of them. But yeah, that's my assumption.
So,
I'm sure, I'm sorry, Bob, I think that's totally right. But, Bigelow was trying to deal with fitting in a subdivision around the back 9 of a golf course, and I can remember them and Ron Johnson, or whether it was Ron or Neil, working on that for a long time, and that's the best they could do, and there's always going to be some irregular shaped lots.
And the other thing is the underlying zone, the whole thing I should say is a PUD. The underlying zone's R1, at least it was when it was approved, but that's even changed over time. I mean, you look at some of the original plats recorded at the county to some of the updated surveys we have now, you know, the real estate market changed. There was single family to townhomes, back to single family. I mean, we see that on certain subdivisions and additions around town. So there's a lot of reasons that Highlands, yeah.
Money was good?
Yep.
I see, I forgot to put it on my memo. Staff recommends approval of the variance.
Like, Planning commission. recommend approval. Got it. Got it. So I will make a motion to approve the variance request recommended by planning commission for 994 Gulfview Avenue.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Dylan. 8E, new office furniture. Brian?
Yes, thank you for approving the additional CETA staff. That means we're going to need some more furniture. We don't have any furniture to put back there. We're going to house that person right by the back door. There's a little open area. We'll buy a couple of panels, the fabric panels, so we don't freeze that person when we open the door every time. And then what we're thinking of doing is moving Dylan's furniture into that spot. Dylan has just an L-shaped, not very much countertop space. We'll move that into, for the new CETA person, and we'll move my furniture into Dylan's office, which is, my furniture is a U-shape, a lot more lay space, a lot more files that Dylan can use. And then we would purchase, the new furniture we would have to purchase would go in my office. You know, we get a quote there for you. It's $7,800. Everything is expensive right now. This is actually cheaper than a typical steel case furniture arrangement. This would be a wood laminate arrangement. And a couple of bookcases. Is that the price there, 75? 7,500, yep. Oh, plus a pencil drawer. So about, well, I think it was exactly 7,500, 7,550. But we'd be looking for approval to spend not to exceed $8,000 on that. I think that might even cover the 2 panels. If not, we'd bring those back later. We have money. Kim?
Back at the dawn of time when they built the building, there's leftover money from the building. So there is about $10,500 in the capital projects restricted fund that is designated for office furniture. That's never been spent.
You didn't spend it on the Taj Mahal in the front?
No, that was because that was CARES Act money.
Nice. We don't just want to, is there something small at the back in the corner?
We already have small, I mean, because his office is really user unfriendly. I mean, it's hard to keep, no offense, Dylan, but it's hard to keep tidy because he has a lot of open storage. This is going to allow him, to take some of the files and store, and it just seemed like the better way to do it when we were looking at it.
Quote includes somebody taking all it down and putting it all back up?
Put it all in. I'm thinking we will take the furniture out. And they will, well, in Dylan's, yes, and in the back corner, but they will put in the new furniture. Beckley as well.
Money there. And it's been there for 25 years.
Probably earned
Might be
interest.
time to spend it.
Yeah, that's what interest. That's the interest has been growing it, so.
Sounds good.
I'll make a motion to approve that furniture using the furniture funds.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Brian. Reports. Brian?
Yes, I think I promised a lawn irrigation ordinance this meeting. We didn't make that. But a little more to discuss with Matt on that one before we bring it. So next meeting. And then Ellers, we had the Ellers kickoff meeting for the capital planning this morning at 9 a.m. It's going to be a 4 to 6 month process. It's going to be a lot of work up front for staff, department heads especially. We are going to try and think of everything we can that we need to do and that we might need to do in the next 10 years. So that's a little bit of we're going to have some time and effort into that. Once we have that, we'll get all that back to Ellers. They'll put together a draft. And at that point, we involve the council and tweak things and add things and move things around. They will come up with this is what all of this stuff would cost and what it would do to what the impact would be to taxpayers. And then we'll work it backwards from there. So it's going to be big at first, probably, maybe not. Then we'll work it back. So that process has started as of today, and we're going to keep working on it. Little unsure how quickly we can get it in there. It may not be done in time to do anything with the budget, the 2023 budget. It might be a 2024 budget thing, just because we want to go into it with our eyes open, all the I's dotted, T's crossed, make sure we are very intentional with everything we're putting in there. So we don't want to rush it either. Zeba had another meeting, and they are looking at moving forward with their street sound speaker system. The talk is we would have a fixed main antenna, which would sit on top of the police roof out on the corner, because it needs to communicate with the first light pole up on the corner of Main Street. And then from there's a repeater that will cover all the way down Main Street, all the way to 4th. Having it here, and we'd house the equipment, but we wouldn't run it. We just keep it plugged in, keep it powered, and then a Zeba representative will remote into it to play the music and set the times and what music. The advantage to having it here also is with that antenna, we could expand into the park at some point if the city chooses to add on to that system.
Have Christmas music at Christmas time?
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. There's a cloud cover. I think it was the program that Luck Wisconsin uses. It's like $17 a month, but that gives you the license to broadcast all the music.
Play the license. Yeah.
Yep.
I paid 3 different licensing people.
Yeah, and I guess the cloud cover covers it all. So.
$1
Yeah. There was a request to have public works staff install the speakers on all the light poles. That was a question we're going to have as to if that's something that council would like us to do. I told Zeba that we would not install the antenna and the coaxial cable that's got to be drilled through the roof here at City Hall, that they would have to hire an electrician or someone to do that. Speakers are basically plug in and then strap onto the poles. I think, Mike, you want to chime in? I think did we get approval from MnDOT already?
That's Excel, you have to get it.
Or Excel, excuse me.
No.
Oh, yeah, I thought that just the application was put in, was that?
Just the application was accepted.
Okay, because we have to get approval from them to do that, but I don't know if it's going to be a lot of Public Works time, but Public Works doesn't have a lot of time to get done with what we need to get done with. So my thought was to ask Zeba to hire someone to do that install as well. But if the council feels strongly, then we can go that way. But I guess I didn't have that as a motion or anything. That's just more information. So, all right, this one. Not looking forward to this one. Jefferson. I neglected to put in the advertisement in the paper. It needed to run on April 13th. And I guess I had it in my head that I wasn't having to do any of that was going to be taken care of. But I was supposed to. There's a very concise email that was sent to me saying the dates and what to put in and everything, and I missed it. So it's going to run on the 27th of April, meaning we are going to hold off opening, and it's got to run for 21 days. We got to be there. So we're going to hold off opening up bids until May 18th, and we'll bring it to the May 19th council meeting, which Sarah and Tina will be back. So yeah, and I'll be here for that one too. I'll be gone for the next council meeting as well at a conference, but it shouldn't affect the schedule much. We need to get the grant agreement with the state signed, finalized after we award the bid. So on on the 19th, May 19th. If the bids look good, we'll award it. And then we'll work with the state to get the grant agreement signed, and that takes about a week. They know that we're going to be looking for it right away. They're all on board with getting it done. And then we can give the the go ahead to the contractor at that point, and they can get going. So, by the very beginning of June, we should be rolling, assuming bids come in where we need them to. There's quite a few prime bidders out there. We're able to see on WHKS's electronic account. There's quite a few that have checked out plans. Doesn't mean they're going to bid, and quite a few subs as well. Shoot, I had something else, can't remember. So that's where we're at. I'm sorry, I missed the posting. Not going to mess things up too much. It'll actually allow us, 3 of us, to be here for the bid opening or for the approval. So I think that's all I had.
Thanks, Brian. Chief?
Nothing else?
Matt?
No report.
Miranda?
Nothing's nightmare, thank you.
Dylan?
Yeah, next Tuesday, April 26th at 5:30 here in the council chambers, a marketing firm will be presenting. It's in a series presented by the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation in CETA. It's called Marketing Insights, and the particular topic is social media and digital marketing. So if you have an interest to stop by, there'll be a presenter marketing firm here going at 5:30. Otherwise, if you want more information or any details, feel free to just shoot me an email or contact me and I can send that over, but that's it for me.
What day?
Tuesday, 5:30. Her name is Tracy Lauritsen. She's a marketing specialist with Crackerjack Marketing. And she's actually working on a market study for us for another project we have too, but this is unrelated. It was something that was thrown out there to communities if they wanted to host, so I said, why not? I checked the council chambers schedule and I said, come on through.
Perfect. Thanks, Dylan. Kim?
Well, I neglected to book the council chambers, otherwise I would have kicked them out. But we have audit field work in the office next week. So normally Mr. Murch will contact one or more council members for an interview. So just be prepared.
Is that it, Kim?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike?
Couple of items. STS got that ditch cleaned up across from the trailer park up there on the south end, and they did a really good job. That's gonna continue to be a problem, though, I see. It's already collecting garbage up there. Second item is we're having some trouble with getting our second vehicle for Public Works. It's not to do with the program. The program's still in place, but it's lack of they're not making the vehicles now. So staff is looking at some different options right now, just to try to get us through the summer, to have one more vehicle for us. And I think the last thing we've talked about now is a lease on a vehicle, a used vehicle even or something. So I guess we'll be bringing that back to you once we get more information, but we're just short on vehicles, and if we can just get, I think Larry said they could have it by the fall, but with 6 months, it'd just be nice to have another vehicle for the summer, especially with the project going on in Jefferson and stuff. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Mike. I have nothing. Sarah? Tina?
We did have a quarterly fire board meeting this past Tuesday. And just so you know, the fire board did choose to approve a bid for a new roof. So we will look forward to that because that will be a fantastic new addition to the fire hall. And we will, with the entities that are on that fire board, we'll be looking at a joint powers agreement revision going forward. We kind of skipped the last one, so it's about time. It's going to be probably a 1.5 year process to get through that and work through cost sharing. So that's my update for that. But everything else is going well at the fire hall. Things fixed, working well.
Goody, oh, you want to talk about this Goody thing or no? That's all I have.
Thank you. Chris?
Yeah, we had the spaghetti feed and it was really good. We had a great turnout. We were able to serve almost 600 meals again, which was incredible. Yeah, huge volunteer effort on the fire department side, husbands, wives, kids. It was great to see everybody on board. Yeah, great to see everybody come through. Pretty awesome. Great way to start off spring. I have nothing else.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. Bob? Meeting adjourned.